A private jet spends about 90% of its life doing exactly this. Parked. Still. Going nowhere. And here's the strange part. This, the doing nothing, is the most expensive thing it will ever do. So how much does a private jet really cost? Not the answer you'd guess. When people imagine the cost of a private jet, they imagine one number, the sticker price. And it's a big one. A mid-size business jet, the kind a successful company or a wealthy family actually buys, runs around $25 million. That number is real. But it's also a decoy. Because the price on the aircraft is the one cost the buyer can see, and almost everything that matters is hidden behind it. A jet isn't a thing you buy. It's a bill you start paying every month, forever, the moment you own it. And most of that bill arrives whether you ever fly or not. To understand a private jet, you have to split it into two completely separate bills. The first is the one everyone expects, the cost of flying. Fuel. Maintenance. Fees, the meter that runs when you're in the air. The second is the one nobody thinks about, the cost of simply owning it. The bill that lands every year, whether the jet moves an inch or not. Start there, because that's where the surprise lies. Start with the crew. A private jet doesn't come with pilots. You employ them. And to keep an aircraft ready to fly on demand, owners typically carry more than one crew, captains. First officers, often a cabin attendant, all on salary, all kept current. A corporate captain can earn well over $200,000 a year. Add a first officer, benefits, and mandatory recurrent training in a simulator, and the crew alone runs to around $400,000 a year. Paid in full in a year, you barely fly at all. Then it needs somewhere to live. Hangar space for a mid-size jet costs thousands of dollars a month, around $70,000 a year, just for a roof over it. Ensure that $25 million machine, hull, and liability, and you're looking at roughly $100,000 a year. Recurrent training, another $60. Management, scheduling, navigation subscriptions, the firm that runs the whole operation. They call it another $120,000. Add it up before a single drop of fuel goes in. Before the engines ever turn, owning this jet costs about $750,000 a year. That's the bill for standing still. Now the part people do expect, actually flying it. A mid-size jet drinks fuel, 200 to 300 gallons an hour. At today's prices, that's roughly $2,000 an hour, just in fuel. Fly the 400 hours a year a busy jet might fly, and that's around $800,000 burned through the tanks. Then maintenance. And this is where owners get caught out. Jet engines are overhauled on the clock, and you pay into that overhaul every hour you fly, whether you feel it or not. Somewhere around $800 an hour, set aside for the engines alone. The airframe, inspections, parts. The airworthiness checks the law demands, adds several hundred more per hour. Add landing and handling fees at every airport, navigation charges, catering, hotels and expenses for the crew on the road, and the cost of flying climbs to around $1.5 million a year. So now we have two bills. About $750,000 to own it standing still. About $1.5 million to fly it. Already over $2 million a year. And we haven't yet counted the biggest cost of all. Because the largest cost of owning a private jet is one you never get an invoice for. It's the value quietly draining out of the aircraft itself. A brand new business jet can lose around half its value in its first 5 years. On a $25 million jet, that's roughly $2.5 million a year. Gone. In nothing but lost value. And here's the cruel detail. That loss doesn't depend on flying. Whether you take it up every day or leave it in the hangar all year, the value falls. The jet loses about $7,000 a day, just sitting there. So let's answer the real question. What does a private jet actually cost? Not the $25 million on the price tag. That's the entry fee. The real cost is what it takes to keep it for 1 year. $750,000 to own it. $1.5 million to fly it. $2.5 million in value lost. Add them up. And 1 year with this jet costs around $4.7 million. About $4 to $5 million a year. On top of the price you already paid, just to keep one mid-sized jet in your life. And now the part that should stop you. Of that $4.7 million, the amount you owe, whether or not the jet ever leaves the ground, the standing still costs, plus the value it loses, comes to about $3.25 million a year. More than 2/3 of the cost of a private jet is the cost of owning it while it does absolutely nothing. About $8,900 a day to keep it parked. Sit with what that means. The bill just to keep one jet parked, $3.25 million a year, could pay the full salaries of about 50 working people. Every year. To keep one plane standing still. The full $4.7 million. That's enough to buy a brand new family home roughly every 6 weeks. Instead, it keeps one aircraft idle 90% of the time. A private jet is sold as the ultimate way to save time. But the truth underneath it is stranger. It's one of the few things you can own that costs the most precisely when you're not using it. That's the hidden cost of a private jet. Not the $25 million you pay to buy it, the $4.5 million bill that arrives every year after. Most of it owed before the engines ever start. The price you see is the cheap part. The real cost is keeping it alive while it waits. That's what we do here at Cost Atlas. We find the bill that isn't on the receipt for the things you thought you already understood. Next time, the cruise ship. And why the most expensive thing it carries isn't the passengers, the fuel, or the crew. It's something you never see on the brochure.